Hello, welcome back to City Planner Plays, where we are building the city of Brownsville in Clearwater County, or at least that's what it's called right now. But the name might change soon. And what you see raging in the background is a crazy fire. And it's not going to get better anytime soon. And I know this because I've played this build a couple of times. Once as a practice run, and once as an actual episode recording, and I inadvertently had an issue with the save. So I know what I'm doing this time. And one of the things that we need to do is ensure that our forestry industry is safe by making sure that we have a fire watchtower here. This is something that we neglected to put in the previous episode. We also neglected to put one in over in Ashland. And if there's anything I know, it is that we absolutely must have adequate fire protection. So we're going to place a watchtower just up here. And for both of those, we should probably have a trail connection up there, because otherwise, how do you get up to it? And I want to take a look at what our junctions look like, because we now have the unified AI and the Network Multitool. So I'm really excited about this mod. It allows you to do a lot. And one of the things it allows you to do is go through here, add nodes, just like you would in some of our other tools like Electric's road tools. And it allows you, even on a path network, to look at the slopes and make sure that they make sense. So that's not great. It's 13%, but these are some burly firefighters. They can probably deal with that. So we might just leave them with a hike. Oh, we can't do that. It's too much. It's too much. That's better. It's not perfect, but it's pretty darn good. I'm going to keep messing with it because that's who I am. So, in today's episode, we've got something interesting. So I mentioned that we currently have the name Brownsville for this community over here. But Jackson Anderson Brown just saw his entire industry wiped out by a fire. And he is in dire straits. He might have all this land, but the part that's the most valuable is right here, and it has been destroyed. So he's got to come up with another game plan. How is he going to recover? And his game plan is to utilize this rail line. He wants to utilize this rail line to benefit his forestry industry. He's thinking that if he could only get products out faster, the little bit of inventory that he has left, which is a lot actually, if he could get that out of here, he could make enough money to recover. So he contacts the owner of this rail line. The owner is William Bell, and he says, "Can you please add a cargo stop in my little city of Brownsville?" And he immediately gets shut down. So he decides to sweeten the deal. So he renames his city Belmont. And he says, "Bill, I just renamed the city. The city's now Belmont. We have all agreed that we want the railroad so bad that we've renamed our city." And William Bell says, okay, under one condition: you own hundreds of acres of land. I need some of that land. And, Jackson is really in no place to negotiate, so he agrees. He decides to take all of this land right here and give it to Mr. Bell. And that might sound outlandish, but that is absolutely the kind of thing that you saw when people were trying to get the railroad to come to their community. It's one of the things that actually made railroad towns unique, is that you'd have these railroad operators saying, "Yeah, we'll come in. All you got to do is give us, a few hundred acres of land so that we can profiteer, and as land barons, and speculate." And of course, they're in a great position to do this because they're the ones laying the track, and they know already that there are going to be new employees, new shoppers, new people wanting homes. That land will become valuable, and they know it because they're placing the infrastructure. So it's really kind of an interesting situation for them to be in. So we're adding this on to Belmont, and in the future, this will be part of the community. And today what we're going to do is really expand this community and make it a standalone place. because the new investment in this area is going to really spur that need. So there we go. Now Belmont is a good size, and I'm curious, compared to Bluffside Crossing, compared to Ashland, it's about half the size, but it's got far fewer people. We've got 412 people and lots of residential demand. So what we're going to do is first make a couple of fixes to this community, and then I've got a whole list of things that I want to add. Things that are going to make this a place, and it's all going to be spurred on by the development of the rail line here. First things first, though, we've had people using this as a cut through, and that is not the intention of this road. So I didn't want to leave this as a cul-de-sac, but I am going to. Ooh, does not like what I just did. So we'll cut that off. Okay, so we've gone through and done our worst here, which is making sure that we have a road connection that won't be used as a cut through. This is Brown Street. It was being used as the main drag here, and that's just not reasonable in this area. So we want to scope out the best location for our train, and what I'm thinking is that actually is probably right here. And we've got some unique assets to choose from, and I think I know the perfect one. So first of all, let's go ahead and build our road back here. So we're gonna go back into our rural roads, and we're gonna choose our 2-lane country road. And we'll draw this straight for a minute, and then angle over, and then once again go straight. And then we are going to make a connection here because we want trucks to be able to leave if they need to. So with that, we are going to upgrade this segment of Brown Street, and this could end up being used as a cut through. I would hope it is not. And to remedy that, what we're going to do is add some signals here. So first of all, this will be our first traffic signal. This is going to get real busy. So it's not warranted now, but we know it's going to be in just a moment. And then we're going to add a stop sign here. And then to prioritize this movement here, we're going to add another stop sign here, which actually we'll add a yield sign. So you sometimes see this on country roads. In fact, you might see this even more formalized and, see the road actually point in that direction. So we could certainly do that. Go ahead and point the road in that direction. If we go that extreme, we probably need to do a little bit more here. In fact, I like the idea of doing that to formalize that as the primary movement, but I think we need a stop sign here then. And let's see how this functions. Sweeping turn in works well. And over here, same deal. Hearse, you're gonna stop, as you should. All right, so that's gonna mean that this road is hopefully not getting a bunch of traffic. It's getting some. That's okay. I think this will be a lot less attractive. I'm kind of curious. Click here. Yeah, it's kind of splitting the traffic, and this is what connectivity does. It splits traffic, so it's not the worst situation in the world. So I picked up this asset, which is a phrase I'm going to say a lot today, and we've got this lumber train station, which is a really cool looking asset in my mind. And this one, I'm not sure what this is. Just the station? Okay, interesting. That's just the station. If we wanted to make it longer, no upkeep, might do that. I'm not a plopper, but I can pretend to be one. We'll just leave it like that. I like the way that looks. That's neat. Now it's longer. It makes a little bit more sense in my mind. So what we're going to do is try to work this back around, follow the terrain of the road here, make a connection right there. So this is going to be a very slow segment of train, which is not that big of a deal in a smaller community. So I think we're going to follow this first. So this is an ugly junction, but I absolutely think it could happen in a rural area where the traffic volumes are really never expected to tick up any more than they already have. So let's go ahead and make this a little more reasonable. And now that we have our new unified AI and network multi-tool, we can actually go through and double check our heights, so our terrain, our slopes. So we're gonna go into slope mode, which you could use Control S for. I just didn't. When you click on these, you see what the slopes are, and 7% is way too big for a train. What I've learned about this tool is if you select too many nodes at once, it creates issues. So one thing I'm noticing here is that a lot of these nodes are very close. I can go through in here and remove some nodes and get some errors. So I've been getting a lot of errors today, and it's kind of freaking me out. It has caused some issues for me, and I'm not 100% sure why, but it's certainly making me nervous about the build. I'm not sure if it's the build. I'm going to keep playing, and we'll see. But my saves have now been taking, I will say 2 or 3 minutes. So I am wondering if it's one of the assets I added. I'm really wondering if it's unified AI or if something updated. If you are noticing any weird stuff happening in your game after the most recent updates of your mods, let me know. Because if you find a solution, I really would love to know, because the last thing I want is for something to destroy this build. This is certainly one of my favorite builds that I've worked on, and it would be really sad if I couldn't do it anymore. So this is just allowing us to ensure that a train could reasonably access this. And you see we've got our first train coming through, oh, there it is. Let's follow it. We can be the train. Let's see how bumpy it is. Oh, it's going through. All right. Just kidding. Goodbye, train. We didn't really care anyway. Okay, so now we're in a better spot there. Now, we've got this junction here, and this junction got a lot of discussion, and that's because I made a bad junction of power lines. We need a substation, and I picked up an asset that is going to be perfect for it. We're going to have to pause and do a little bit of deleting and add in this substation, and then copy our power line. And we've got some lumpies and bumpies, but I think we can... Well, we probably should have graded this beforehand. I feel like I say that more and more. Couple lumpies and bumpies, but it's okay. That kind of blends in with the vibe of the... Whoa! This has gotten a lot bigger. And I don't like what I'm seeing. I'm seeing this... Oh, no. It's going towards Belmont. All right, we're going to have to just keep an eye on that. At least things are growing back here. It's starting to look nice again. Yeah, clearly the train wouldn't come here because we don't have a connection yet. So that would be a limiting factor. So we're going to have a nice at-grade crossing here. Diagonal. It'll be the bane of everyone's existence. And it's going to come frequently. But it's going to do the trick. It's going to work. And we're going to enjoy it. That's what Jackson's telling his employees and fellow town members, or citizens, because at this point, this is the lifeblood of the community and they need it to keep going. We are going to have a spot to store some cars if we want. Now, I know there's a way to do this with this tool. So let's see. Control space. Oh. So press tab and you can switch. Okay, or I can press minus to decrease radii, equal to increase both. Wow, so there's a lot that you can do with this, but none of this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to not... Oh, wait, I wonder if I... Ooh, now we're getting somewhere. So I don't know how to use this tool, and I'm learning how. And you can see that, learning how to use your tools, that it makes all the difference in the world. And right now, I do not know how to use my tools, and that's a problem. Let's see. And I'm wondering if this was even the right junction to use. Yeah, it's pretty ugly. It's pretty terrible. So I would not have... I probably should have connected up over here. Why don't we try that one more time? So I think the problem is that I didn't draw this to be long enough. So we're going to draw it just a bit longer. And I'll just keep playing with this. And it's fun to learn these things. Yeah, and it says no. It says absolutely not. How dare you? So it's not going to work for this particular area. I think that this would work well in other areas, but I can do that. Just as easy. And but what we can use this for, again, is the slope. Make sure that we're okay here because this is lumpy and bumpy and insane. Oh, look at that. So nice and so easy to use. Yeah, this is a great tool. I'm glad that everyone suggested I pick this up. I'm even more thankful to the author for putting this together. This is the same creator that made the intersection marking tool and the building spawn points. So just an incredibly talented creator, and you know, it's creators like this that give the game life. You know, every time that I think that the game, you know, I'm over it, there's a new mod, there's a new asset that keeps me coming back. And I know that I'm not the only one that feels that way. But people watch my videos, and that tells me that there's still interest in this game this many years later. Now, I want to make sure that this is working, so I'm going to speed it up. But I'm seeing something that's really concerning me, and that is our budget. So when we're looking at this right now, I've got a lot of... I'm bleeding money. So I know that I can crank the taxes on these higher density zones. I'm not doing that right now. And I also know that I'm creating way too much power. Let's take this down to 75. And we'll see where that leaves us. Water. Ugh. We have a lot of sewage treatment, but not a lot of water. Which is okay, because I got something I want to add. So I picked up this really neat wooden water tower asset. And I think it would be a neat asset to have near our downtown. I imagine that this would be on the historic... Okay, well, I didn't mean to place this as it's a wooden water tower on a hill that's on fire. So maybe that wasn't the best choice. But it was a choice, and it's the one that I made. So we're going to run that in between the houses, and maybe the water... Maybe this will burn down, the water will fall, land on these houses and keep them safe. Maybe it won't. I'm curious. We've got to watch. We've got to see what's going to happen. So we've made it to the city, and our water tower is burning down, which was pretty predictable. It's unfortunate, but it's predictable. It's a wooden water tower. It didn't burn down. It didn't burn down. The homes didn't burn down. How? I don't know how this... The church? Is the church going to burn down? Holy cow. Belmont has been saved and spared completely. I thought for sure we were going to have some problems. But we survived. We've survived. All right, so this isn't working because we don't have water. We've got our power turned down. We're making some money again. We're okay. So let's get some water here so this building stops being upset. And we'll loop this even though we're in the middle of nowhere. The other thing I want to think about a little bit is what's happening with our forestry industry, -$4 profit. So I thought about one of the policies I put in place, this improved worker safety supervision. This is $1 per affected worker, and we have a lot of workers here because of realistic population. So I'm going to take that down a notch. We're going to eliminate that policy, and that should bring us back to profitability. And I think that's going to have a big... Yeah, that's... it could just be when we're looking at it, but still, 179 workers. This policy is every something. I would guess weekly, and not activating that is gonna be nothing but good for us. So we're in a good spot. The city is in a good spot, and we can slow down because we've been screaming through this episode. So we do have some things happening here. We're going to need a nice concrete pad here or something to make this look a little bit cleaner. I know I've been avoiding that, but there is a time and a place, and this is the time and this is the place. All right, so that's a lot better. Now, building spawn points is a thing here, and you can see they're just driving through the building. That kind of stinks. I wish that we could do a little better than that. In fact, we're going to try. So let's look at our building spawn points. You can see that, yeah, we've got some stuff. So we're going to take our cargo train. Obviously, that needs to go where it goes. And then for this one, let's move it. We'll say that they unload on the side of the building here. It is mad at me. It does not like that there. Let's see if it's better right here. We'll just leave it there. Interesting. So I still see that they're spawning out of the wrong point. I don't know why that's happening. That is certainly weird. Maybe it takes a little while, but for the time being, we're gonna just leave it and hope for the best. Hope it changes in the future. Oh, kills me. Kills me. It's not working. Well, the other thing I don't see working is I don't see a train coming. I kind of want to zoom out and see what's happening. Is this guy? Where's he going? He's going to the lumber transfer station. Let's get a look at this. Whoa, not that fast. Let's slow down. Yeah, we are slow right now. Okay, so I just want to see how this is going to go around here. This is a very challenging junction. Slows down, comes around. How bumpy is it? It's doable. This is not too bad. It's unfortunate that the road is at a different height. Maybe we can do something about that. Probably not the end of the world. Probably the sort of thing that I just need to let go of. And there we go. We've made it in here, and this is where we're getting our lumber. Now, I think that this would be a huge boon for the community. It, is able to back out there. Yeah, very good. So this is going to help us make some money. It's still coming out of there. Still spawning out of the wrong spot. Oh, don't know why. So maybe the reason why, and maybe it's just 100% the reality that this is a modded building. We're just going to have to ignore that for the time being. The other asset that I could use, I do have another one. I think it's the Kansas, right here. This is the other one. This has been part of the pack for a while. And this one's really nice looking too. In fact, I might even like it more, but I just feel like it would fit somewhere else better. Ooh, actually, look at that inside of there. It's lumber. You know what? We're going to switch it. We're going to switch it. I like the Kansas City one more, and I already spent the money on it, so, I've got that going for me. We got $3,000. Oh, I don't have enough money for the relocation. There's a solution to that, too. So I don't often use Move It as a workaround, but today I definitely did. And you know what? It felt good. I don't care. That felt great. So I'm going to go with it. And let's reestablish this train connection. We are losing money like crazy. What is going on? So let's look at our budget, because something is totally out of whack. So I think part of it's our parks budget. That's $3,000. That's really high. The other part is our fire budget, $3,000, also very high. And I know we're in the middle of a big fire, and we're going to say, our community's safe. We're good to go. We don't need to worry about that. So that's probably not smart, but we're going to do it anyway. And so then the train depot is the other thing. And I think we can cut this down. We're gonna deal with that. Our tram is also very expensive. Let's cut our tram down for the time being. 50%. We're gonna probably be in a tough spot with capacity. Why don't we just take a look? Just want to see if we have any significant backups. We do have a couple of spots with some significant backup. It's unfortunate to cut the funding, but this is absolutely what would happen. Transit is one of those things that is the first to go in a lot of places because people think that transit should make money, and it shouldn't. It's a form of transportation. You don't expect your roads to make you money, but you expect transit. You don't expect your parks to make you money. You know, you'll have a municipal golf course, and that's okay, bleeding cash, because it makes people happy. But we've got a bus, we've got a tram. That thing's got to make us money. and rent. That just, it's one of those things that has always bugged me. It will always bug me. It's not fair, but it is the way people see things, and so you can't. Differences of opinion are differences of opinion, and that's it's one of those things you just got to work with. I just wanted to go through and try to make the grades as reasonable as I could. So we've got this station now, which I like considerably better. I'm hoping that the spawn points are a little bit better. So this one has been a part of the pack for a while, so if you're wondering where it is, it's not going to be in the specific build for today. You saw a truck go into the right spot already. $900. That's half the price of the other one. We should also clean up this gravel back here. There we go. That is pretty. So I just want to make sure again that this is working. I'm a little concerned. And I don't see any trains coming just yet. I do see lots of vehicles dumping materials off into here though, which makes me think that it's only a matter of time before we have a train use this facility. Ah, there it is. There it is. Speed demon just going through. Wait. Oh, trip was set up to the old facility. Fascinating. Or, our cargo spawn point is bad here. So let's put that right here. Maybe this is the right spot. And hopefully that will lead to things spawning where they're supposed to. Didn't save though. Interesting. Okay, well, we're gonna just let that go and hope that that resolves itself. So we've got a few things now that our community is gotten bigger that we're gonna want to think about. So first things first, we have this really expensive clinic. I do not want this in the community. I picked up another asset that I think is gonna fit a little bit better, and that's because it goes along with this firehouse that we put in. So we're going to place this right here, right next to it. And it's just an ambulance station. So it costs about half the price, less frills, works the same way though. And in my mind, it's a bit better of a fit. So we're going to locate these right next to one another. And there we go. That's a good fit. I do want to look at the terrain that we are seeing next to the water, because we're placing buildings now really without any regard to how this would respond to a flooding event. And that's absolutely unacceptable. That would be something that we would want to think about a little bit more, particularly when it's our emergency services. So at least we have this high enough that it shouldn't flood now. And hopefully we're in a little bit better of a spot there. So I want to go around and think about, now that we've got our cargo station and things are flowing, we got our traffic backing up, city is humming along, what do we do to improve? So there is one thing I really wanted to do, and that was to keep our city services in this area locked and dialed into this area. I couldn't figure out how to do it with Traffic Manager. I thought I could go through and just disable some of those buildings. I'm coming right here. So what I did before, and I'll do it again, I don't know that it's going to work. And when I say before, I mean in the build that I didn't save because the save didn't work. Very sad. I went and adjusted the vehicle restrictions, and I got rid of SOS. I got rid of this, some of these other buildings. So I want to make sure that none of the emergency services come through. I want to make sure that we don't have trash vehicles. I didn't want taxis coming through. I don't know how to prevent hearses. I assume that would be SOS, but I don't know. Didn't seem to work. So we're going to try it again. We'll see what happens. And since we're doing that, now there are no cops here. Oh, let's see. Whoa! Fire coming straight for Ashland. Well, we're gonna have to keep an eye on that. Since we no longer have we've now disabled fire or police, we're gonna need to get police in the city. And I picked up an asset that's gonna help with that, which again will be the common refrain today, and that's a town hall. So this would be something that you would expect to see in any small town. Town hall where people can do their business, go and meet with their elected officials, have hearings on the different topics of the day, and where you might also see the fire department and other public services. So we're going to add a road here for parking, because I do not think that this building comes with sufficient parking. And we'll go through, and what have we been doing? Adding little parking lots. So I'm going to add a few parking lots right here. And now the town hall can also host different events in the community. You'd imagine that this would be a very important place to everyone in town. So in reality, this building has most likely public works. It would have the city administrator. It would have the village hall, the clerk, or it would be where the village board would meet, or town board, whatever it may be. It would be a very important facility. In this building, we also have a small police department. You could also imagine the fire department being here, and maybe even so some of these services that we have over here. Truthfully, I kind of want to relocate them. I feel like this would be a much more appropriate location. So we're gonna call them Mulligan. This is further from town, but more within our town facility. And to me, it's a good fit to co-locate all of these within close proximity. So this is a little city services center now. So we've got police, EMS, we'll name this Belmont FD, Belmont EMS, and Belmont Town Hall. And we absolutely need some landscaping here. It's looking very naked, and we don't like naked buildings. Or maybe we do. I don't know. You pick your poison. I don't like naked buildings. Okay, so we've got some more landscaping around here and made it blend a little bit more into this area. It is a forestry industry area, and the last thing you'd expect to see would be a place without any trees. So I think that we've certainly accomplished the goal of having lots of trees. And I love this little. It's such a neat little facility. I think it really feels good in this area. So, all right, we're gonna leave that there and move on to the next thing. So we banned garbage collection here, and that's gonna become a problem. So I do have a solution. We don't have enough money. We're gonna have to speed things up. So you might see me just cruising through time and space, and that is all a function of having no money. So I'd really love to build a recycling center. That was my original game plan. I actually have a great asset for it. We're just losing money again. Perfect. But we're going to take out a loan, which is absolutely what I don't want to do, but we need money. Let's pause this for a second. I wonder. Well, no, the recycling center is going to be way too much operating. I'm going to show it to you because it's going to be in the episode pack. So it's this custom recycling center. I use this in Bluffside Crossing. It's a really cool asset, removes a lot of waste. It's noisy, but it's 100% clean. It would be really nice here. Unfortunately, we're gonna have a landfill. If we're gonna have a landfill, we're gonna hide it. So I know we just burned down here, but we're gonna worry about our views that we would expect to see from across the river. We absolutely do not want to see a dump from across the river in town. So I think we're good. We'll still jazz it up a little bit more. Oh yeah, that feels good. That feels good. So I do want to add a little bit of gravel, extend this out, and make sure that we are reaching the edge of our road. There we go. And we're in a good spot here, I think. I think this is going to work. So our train comes, drops off, people leaving the right hole. That's perfect, not clipping through a building. What a beautiful asset. I really love, there's a whole collection of Kansas City buildings, and they're all just such great looking buildings. You see this came on the track, backed out, looks good. I wonder, traffic. Ooh, we're below 80. I wonder where, yeah, we got issues here. Got issues here. We've got issues here. And Belmont, which has had absolutely no prioritization, basically. Some issues for a small town, but to be expected when you have just rural roads all over the place and lots of industrial traffic. So speaking of roads, I want to do something that was suggested in the comments. And this is going to be a fun one. So people were recommending that we have a bridge, a wooden bridge that's covered over here. I just love that. It's such a neat look, and it could be something that the community is known for. So I'm going to steal that idea because I love it. Thank you so much for that idea. Discord, you guys are awesome. All right, so the community needs to grow to serve the needs of this industry. Things are popping here. We probably should have some more parking. This wasn't planned for, and you can see that it's all filled up here. We're going to place that along the river. Let's grade first. This is not ideal. Clearly adding parking across the street, not great. We called a mulligan on that height right there. But I really want this to work well. What we're going to do is use our new tool to get this working, to make this look a little bit better. Our slope. So we got a 13% grade now. That would be a great place to go sledding. Oh, and that looks absolutely horrendous. Oh, that is terrible. Just making it worse and worse and worse. Wow. Okay. Well, This is what I get for disrespecting the topography. You see it? It's plain as day. This is why you respect the topography, because otherwise you get stuff like this. So we're going to reset this one to terrain height, and hopefully that will make it look a little more reasonable. Our terrain is all messed up, and that is my fault. I just went rogue, deviated from the plan, and look what I get for it. So I come up with plans for all of these episodes, and sometimes as I'm recording, I get this quote-unquote good idea. And they're not always good ideas. Sometimes, in fact, they're pretty bad ideas. And that was a bad idea. But we still went with it. Okay, so we're going to have lots of parking along here. And I have seen parking just like this in a rural area. And it's kind of painful to see first of all, the fact that you have a mill like this develop across the street from a river. But this is really the lifeblood of some small towns. So you can't fault them for using their natural resource to create a vibrant economy for their area. But it doesn't always feel like the highest and best use for the land there. I am doing a number on the river right here. This is what I get for, again, trying to improve things. I thought I saw something I could easily fix, and my easy fix was an easy break. So sometimes you just gotta leave things as the creator intended. And Eggsy, I'm sorry for doing that to your map. I feel like if you haven't stopped watching already, you might be very deeply offended in some of the things that I've done to your map. And I'm again, very sorry. Then again, maybe you like it. I should reach out. It's been a little while since I've had the opportunity to speak with Eggsy. Excellent creator. Very, very good guy. So, Yes, very, very happy with this map. Just so much detail. You could tell that he's put a lot of love into everything in this, and it's awesome. So I do think we need some sort of fence here to keep people out of the water. So we'll get rid of all of our guides and just go rogue. There we go. So not perfect. Could certainly use some lighting. Let's take, well, maybe we'll take care of that. Maybe not today. Maybe we'll do that in the next one. Right now, I just want to focus on the core parts of this community that we're trying to improve. So next, we know that this is going to be primed for expansion, and I want to do a couple of things to expand across the water here into William Bell's area. But I want to fix a couple of issues that I saw in the previous build. So first, I placed this church that was in Ashland. I do not want to do that. So I picked up some new churches, and I think they're really great assets. So we've got this old country church, which is this little tiny church. We're going to leave it set in the woods. And let's take a look at this. I think the scale's a little better in this town. But I would expect that a community this size might have a couple of churches. Not everyone is going to be the same religion. So we'll add another small church over here. And St. James Episcopal. There we go. So a couple of churches. Rural town, church, USA, American country. That is a very great description of what this is. I love it. So now we're back to losing money. Let's see, that doesn't require any upkeep. Nor does this. So we're just losing money because that's what we do. So next, we need to think about the other things that a community this size would have. And so I think number one, we don't have a post office. We've eliminated this the clinic that was over here. We're going to add in another. We're going to add another city service building over here, but for the time being, I want to focus on something else, and that is getting across the water. So let's go ahead. We're going to build across the water, and we always want to respect our topography and make sure that we're building in a way that makes sense. So ideally, I think we would minimize our bridge span, but that's just not going to be in the cards here. I think that ultimately, we're going to want to make sure that we have a clear, quick connection here that's safe. And it's a wooden bridge, so it's fine. And then we're going to bring this road up and meet this up here. We could deviate with the topography a little bit. And then make our connection. And that's nice and smooth. So I think it would be absolutely fantastic to use that bridge again and have that kind of be the symbol of the city. So we're going to go ahead and upgrade this. We will again go through, click on our force bridge pieces and then upgrade this. And then I think we're going to lower this until it's flat. Oh yeah, that looks good. We could even center this in the water. And then I really think we need to take a look at our slopes here again to make sure that they make sense. 9%, not great. There we go. A little better. A little better. So the other route that we could have taken would have been to lower. Maybe that's what we should have done. Yeah, let's go ahead. Lower this just a bit. Okay. So that's a little bit more believable in my mind. And now we have a nice connection over here and land that's developable. But we got rid of this church that was also our school. So we're going to need to develop a new school. And I think we need a post office at this point in time. So let's get that post office built. So I picked up a couple of post office assets. We have this one right here, which is a really neat looking asset, but I'm going to show you exactly why we're not going to use it in just a second. We've got this flag here, and it's not animated, and it drives me crazy. So we're going to skip that. I could go through and remove it using Bob, but you know what? It's fine because we have one that's smaller and probably more fitting in a community of this size anyway. And we can add a parking lot next to it, which is what I'm all about today. So parking lot. We're going to keep doing it. There we go. We probably should grade it. That's regrettable. but we did it. So we're going to try to fix it after the fact. And maybe this will make FEMA like our community just a little bit better. Because we're getting some of these homes a little bit further from flooding. And I'm really hoping that this helps with the ruining, because we've had the trees ruining here and it looks pretty rough. I don't love that this is higher than everything else, though. Might actually take something in the middle. And we've got this little home right here, and we're going to do something here. This is going to be a special area for us. So we've got our post office. We need to finish this up, and then I'll move on to the next thing, which is I think you're going to like. All right, so we've got this post office. We've got parking. It's a small town. There are no sidewalks. How are you getting anywhere? You're going to drive. It's sad, but it's true, and we're going to need to respect that. So our industries recovered. Our trees are back. Our fire it's still raging, but it's on the edge of the map. Is it gone everywhere? No. Over here on the edge. Over here, kind of. Over here. So we're safe. Well, actually, it's coming back. No. No, it's not. It's not gonna. Is it? It's gotta end at some point. It's gotta. All right. Well, we're gonna keep an eye on that. So Jackson's got his money. He's got a whole bunch of things happening with his industry now. He's losing money for the entire city, though. So I'm curious after clicking on that. Now he's turning a decent profit at this point. He's helping the city out. He needs a proper place to live, and he's going to get it. Now it's not going to be the most extravagant mansion in the world, but it's going to be a very nice one. So this asset is one that just came out. It's the Voight House, which is from, I believe, I want to say it is from Grand Rapids, Michigan, created by Ava Metri E, and I apologize if I butchered that. We do need to do a couple of things to it. It's a historical building. It's RICO enabled. We're going to save it local. It's level 3. It was level 5. I lowered this in my previous build that I lost because my save file got corrupted. Yeah. So this building is normally level 5 growable. I made it ploppable and historical so that it stays here. And this will be, instead of Voight's house, it'll be J.A. Brown House. And he will have a view of his industry, which is exactly what he wants. He can admire things over here. And this will be a unique architectural gem of the community. Something that everyone is really proud of. It's something that they point out to their friends when they come into town and say, "Oh, look at Mr. Brown's house. This is Mr. Brown's house." So it's the kind of thing that every community has. And to go along with it, I think that it's time to finally upgrade a road in the community. And that road is going to be Brown Street. Rather, this isn't Brown Street. We don't have our road names on. We also don't have disasters on. That is a disaster. Okay, so this is actually Ashland Street. So we're going to extend this through the business district. And I think up here, I'm going to pause this for a second though, because I don't want it to destroy my zoning. There we go. So this will be the pride and joy of the community. It'll be where the things happen. So we have these Victorian style buildings. I don't know if that's going to stick around or not. I'm going to speed this up for a second. Nervous it's going to disappear. It's not going to. They don't have building bases. So I think I want to add a base to this building. That'll do the trick. And now it just looks a little bit less weird. All right, so with that, we're across the river. We need to do a couple of things before we can move on from today's episode. And the main thing I want to do is get some schools placed in this community. We need an elementary school and a high school. And once we have those, this community will be fairly self-sufficient. So what I want to do is carve a little bit out of this hillside, because I don't think that a lot of this is, I guess there's a little spot that's flat, but we're going to need a little bit more than that. So let's go ahead along this road and carve a bit of this hillside out. And I'm going to leave this a little jagged along the edge, because that's one of the comments that I've been getting, basically for as long as I've had a YouTube channel, which is about 10 days shy of a year at this point, which is wild. Is that I taper everything, and that's the Midwesterner in me coming out, because we grade a lot of stuff down. So it's what I'm used to seeing. It's not what everyone's used to seeing. And I need to, I'm not building in a place that's exactly like what I see every day. And I should respect that, and respect the type of treatments that you'd expect to see in places like this. So this road right here, it's a local dirt road. I think that we could upgrade this. In fact, let's do that right now. We'll do the same thing here. This will function as a collector at some point, or an arterial most likely. So I want to keep that in mind. I also want to get this renamed appropriately. So it took the entire thing. So we're just going to move this over here. We'll have Ashland meet up there. And I think that we'll upgrade this little segment of River Road. So interestingly, this is going to be another place where Ashland and River meet up. So we have an Ashland and River here, Ashland and River here, and then we have another Ashland and River here. So that's not going to work. So the way that we're going to fix this is we are going to change where River ends. So River is going to end at this corner here. Oh, and I've got it selected in a different place. So we'll bring that back to Graham. So this is Murray Street. I don't love that. Why don't we make this Bell Street? Now that Bell is come into his own, we'll definitely give him some bragging rights. And then we'll make this connect up, and then we'll make Ashland and at Bell. And this is Audrey Street. Yeah, I'm gonna make it Hillside. Yeah, that to me is a lot better. And this will be School Street. Very on the nose. Because we're going to add some schools back here. So I've got a couple of schools that I want to add. So we used this mid-sized elementary school before. I like it. It's a good fit. We've got these suburban high school, American elementary. We've got this Rice Park Community High School. And what I think we're going to do, I think we're going to use this American elementary school. It's a little modern. I'm going to just admit that outright. But we don't have to do all that much to it. It is brick. We do need to do something about all of these trees. There would be excellent views of the water here. And you can imagine that the school district would work their hardest to preserve those. And I'm not joking about that. They would absolutely represent their interests well. I know this from experience. And that's good. Good for them. Okay, so now we have this here. There's a door right here. We're going to need to make a pedestrian connection. Another door right here. Let's get rid of all this landscaping. We'll figure this out. And then we're going to need to fence in this area a bit. So it's unfortunate. We don't have any sidewalks here. I think we're going to fix that. We can't have a school without sidewalks. So even though we haven't been using many roads that have, really no roads that have sidewalks in this entire community, here's where things start to change. And this is the influence of Bill Belmont. He is an urbanite through and through, and he believes that all roads should have sidewalks. You know what? I agree with her. The one thing that we might disagree on is what the road should look like. Maybe we don't disagree. We're going to use these big suburban roads that have the detached sidewalks. You have a tree lawn there. Yeah, that's a good fit. I think that looks very nice here. The one thing I'd love to see here would be, I'd love some street center lines, and I'd also like to see some trees in the tree lawn, but we're not getting that. And that's okay. So let's go ahead and make some connections here. So we're gonna use Anarchy for this. We're gonna get rid of all of our snap twos, and we're gonna go rogue. So I don't love what it's doing on the outside here. There's nothing I can really do about it though. You can see that with the big suburban roads, it leaves this disconnected spot. And that's because that's the asset. It actually has that terrace on the outside. So I don't know that there's much I can do short of choosing a different. I guess I could use these. Maybe I will. Maybe not one ways though. That's a problem. Now the kids will have a shorter walk to get in there. I think it looks a little bit nicer. What we do need are some parking, more parking here. We've got a little bit, but it's not nearly enough for the teachers or the parents. You might even see a loop drop off here or something like that, but we won't go into that level of detail. But we do definitely need some parking here. So to get this straight, I think that we're actually going to need to build a parking road. And truthfully, these rural roads that we've been using are perfect. So I'm going to just add one of these here. And I want this to be really straight, so I'm going to use the concrete again. And I think that that's going to give me a little bit better looking finished product here. There we go. So around here, we're going to need water. That's a thing. And we'll have that underneath the bridge, which is a crazy spot, but we'll say that it's running underneath. And I think our power's jumping. Oh, yep, we get so lucky. And then the last thing I want a fence around here, because I think that that's really important for an elementary school to keep kids safe from the outside, whatever might be happening out there. So I could go through and do all of this madness. I think I might actually just go through and use one of the park fences. All right, I like I like everything except for this fence over here. This is unnecessary and not useful. They're not going to pay for that kind of fence. In fact, there's a fence around here also not useful. Really, the one that's useful is the one that's keeping the kids safe in the school. We probably should go all the way around the school rather than leaving a nice convenient place to come in. I'll need to make sure that I'm not selecting buildings. Okay, there we go. That is a really hard to look at basketball court, but it is part of the asset. We're just going to ignore it. It's beautiful. We do need some trees. I think we would see some tastefully planted along the entirety of the school. We are preserving those views from the windows there so the students could chew on their pencils and look at their homes, and whoa, there it is. It did come down. It didn't jump the water though. And it's only this little fire. Are we gonna put it out? Put it out. Save our school. It seemed like kind of a wimpy drop there. I don't know. Well, I want to build a high school, but I feel like it's gonna burn down. So, we might just hold off on that. What we are gonna do while our fire is raging, we do need our schools out policy. We want to make sure that these kids are thinking about working at the mill, not going off to a fancy school, which there aren't any of in the region anyway. So at this point, oh boy, this stinks. Hopefully it ends at some point. It's got to at some point. It jumped the highway. Whew. Well, our school is on fire. It's on fire. Oh, the fire. Well, at least we've got the Clearwater County Fire and Rescue coming to save us, and our brand new elementary school that's burning to the ground. You know what? They have good access. You can see that he's totally unconcerned. We've got the clipping through a bridge to make sure the school doesn't burn down. All of our tasteful landscaping burned down. I guess what are you gonna do? You take the good with the bad. That was bad, but it could be worse. All right. Well, the high school is supposed to go right here in this inferno, so I think we're gonna hold off on that one until the next one. I do want to show you the asset that I plan on using though, and that is right here. And we are going to leave a little note to ourselves. That is what we're going to place. Oh, it's on fire. Well, why don't we? You know what? We're gonna do this. We're gonna do it. You're not gonna beat us, fire. We've got this. So while they're busy burning, doing all those things, let's get this going. I'm not gonna be defeated by the fires. So I wonder if I can cheese the game. Oh, it's gonna let me. So I haven't done that before, but it felt so good. So good. The building is no longer on fire, so we can continue continuing. So what I'm thinking is we need this is a high school, so you'd imagine that there's going to be a number of students that drive to school, and as a result we need to plan for that. So I am going to move this road Park Street, which is kind of funny. Like we've had infernos and we're thinking about parks at the school. Not what's on my mind. But at least the fires are almost all the way around. Just one more little one, Mr. Bell's land, and they're coming together. Look at that. So we'll take this whole place out at once, and then they've got to stop at some point. So over here, still going. But over here, we've grown back. It's been an episode. There's been some stuff that's been a little bit distracting. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little distracting, but it's okay. Back to it, and our burnt land. So we've got our high school here. We're not gonna do a lot with landscaping right now because I can't see, but we are gonna add lots of parking because that's what we've been doing. And my main mindset here is, like I said, students are going to drive to the school here, and we want to facilitate that in a safe manner. So I would much prefer that they are parking in the school parking lot than attempting to park on Ashland Street, for instance, which obviously would most likely happen. But if we could keep them off there, that would be for the best. And a lot of times schools only provide a fraction of the parking that they need. Makes sense. Parking lots are expensive, and they're not in the business of providing parking. They're in the business of educating children. So why would they care about building parking lots that completely meet all of the parking needs of their facility? I wouldn't if I were a school. I'll tell you that much. So let's go ahead and build a path connection back here. Turn off all of our guidelines again. And then I want angle on just so that this is nice and clean. And what we're going to do is add a basketball court or two back here. I think we're actually going to leave it along the river here. This will look really neat. I used to play basketball at a court right along the river, right along in a middle school. And it's just neat to be able to see the water in the background and have your fences there, know you're safe from things burning down or from your ball going in the water. I'm a little distracted. This has been hard. All right, we're gonna call it. This is it's been an interesting episode. I've enjoyed it, but it's been stressful. I'm not gonna lie to you. The fires. Wow. I've been tempted to turn spreading off temporarily to make this madness stop, but this is the way forest fires work, and if you're living in California or Oregon right now, or any number of the western states that have a fire, you are not able to turn spreading off. I think Greece is having wildfires right now too. It would be great to turn this off, but that's not what happens. You just keep working, keep trying to make it work. So that's what we're gonna do. I think I'm not a quitter in that way. I'm gonna keep it going. So, but we've done a lot for the city today. So we've grown it, we've renamed it, we've added this wonderful cargo hub. We've come back from the brink of financial ruin. We've added some city services, given Jackson Anderson Brown a proper place to live, and we've watched the entire region burn, and I think we're gonna leave it here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you like this video, please hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, please consider doing so. And if you want to be notified when I release new videos, hit that notification bell. Huge shout out to my Patreon supporters. You can see all of their names here. They help me increase the quality of my content and really keep me going, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching. Your likes, shares, subscribes, it all helps the channel grow. The channel continues to grow, and I appreciate that. I'm going to leave you with a brief city tour like I always do, and I will catch you in the next one. That'll begin now.